Hello, and today, welcome. It's Monday, October 6th, and welcome to the Day Tradestor. This channel is where I show you my simple but profitable swing trading strategy. And I do that by showing you all of my sells and all of my buys, all of the trades that I make every day that the market is open. Today we did receive some sell alerts for I believe for 5 stocks, but 3 of them we should be able to sell those at a profit. The other 2, we're going to be more than likely placing sell orders. But first, let's take a look at today's candle for today's action in the S&P 500. You can see we opened at right around $6,733, and we are close to reaching an all-time high. We opened higher than Friday's close. Today's open is a record high open in the S&P 500, but we have yet to reach a record high for the day. Our last record high was Friday, and that was at $6,750.87. We are roughly $2.60. So we're fluctuating right around $2.50, $2. The $2 range that remains before we're able to get our all-time high. Hopefully we'll get that today. The market doesn't seem to care that the government is shut down. The government doesn't seem to care what experts think, that we're at an all-time high, we're over bought, and we should be preparing for a downturn. This bull market just keeps on rolling. Now we will take a look at our sell alerts. We'll see if we're able to sell any at a profit. Maybe things changed from this morning when I created my list. And the first one we're going to take a look at is American Express. And we do have a small change earlier this morning when I looked at my list. Price was significantly lower than our continuation candle from the cross of the slow moving average. So we had this cross of the slow moving average on Tuesday, and then we had a continuation candle, but it was not this candle. The continuation candle was this candle. And the reason is when we have price move below both moving averages on the same day, I only count one cross, and this continuation candle is for the cross of the price below the fast moving average. So then I have to wait another day, and this price is lower. It was lower than the close of this candle that crossed the fast moving average, or excuse me, the slow moving average. However, it was a green candle, so we were trending upward. Then the next day, we opened up higher on Friday and did go down. And we have another candle where we basically opened higher again. So the trend, even though we keep getting red candles, the last 2 days, or 3 days actually, we've opened higher each morning. So that is not a true continuation. In order for me to have an actual sell based on this candle being lower than this, we need price to be lower than the open of this candle. As long as price is moving upward, we are not going to be selling any. And that is applicable to all of the stocks and all sell triggers that we receive for any particular day. So we'll take a look at that tomorrow. Another stock that we received a sell alert that we might be able to sell, unless that has changed as well, is McKesson. It has not changed. We had Friday, we had price move below our fast moving average. And today we do have a continuation. We opened lower, and price currently is lower than the candle close on Friday. So we are going to look to sell one book. We currently have 3 books. Each book has 1 share. The current price is $737, and I bought these at $731. So we will be selling one of them at a profit. We have one here already in our active trader. So we're looking to sell at $737.06. So we made roughly a $6 profit on that sale of McKesson. Hey, the last one on the list that we will probably be able to sell at a profit is SoFi. It's an online bank. And we have a green candle, and zoom in. We have a green candle, even though we had price cross below our slow moving average 4 days ago, And 2 days ago, we had the fast moving average cross below our slow moving average. Typically, this is an indicator where I try to sell everything we have if we're able to make a profit. If I'm not able to sell at a profit, then we will set sell orders. I currently have 36 shares, which is two books of 18 shares each. However, I have a green candle. Not only is it a green candle, it is a strong green candle. Now, typically, when we have a cross, I do sell. That is a pretty good rule that I have in place. But far more often than not, when we have a cross in either direction, in this case it's down, or if it's up, well, we don't have a cross going up, it tends to go for a while. It tends to be the beginning of a trend. But that's not always the case. So this is where we have to use a little bit of discretion. We want to try to make an informed decision. So if we look at this long downturn, we have to wonder why we had a downtrend right here. There really wasn't a lot of bad news on SoFi. It really wasn't on SoFi news. It more than likely was possibly people taking profits with an overall bad news that really wasn't bad. It was just a lot of experts had expected the market to be taking a downturn back here. Starting several weeks ago, that was all in the news. So it's possible that without having a huge bad news from SoFi, that people just started selling just to make sure they have profits before it did start to fall. So I'm looking up what the analyst expectations for the price forecast, and here's an example of the variation of experts is why you want to not listen to anybody specifically. You want to do your own research, because the range for the price over and this is for the next week. My query for Google was the price targets for Google for this week. We have one analyst predicting a price of $6. That is the lowest price. And we have another analyst whose price is at $31 for this week. And that is a huge range from $6 to $31, and we currently sit at 26. So I'm going to make the decision that because this is probably just some people taking profits, a short-term downturn, not based on any really major economic news, and definitely not based on any news coming out of SoFi that there's something bad happening with the company. Quite the contrary. They had a great earnings report back here in July, basically beginning of June, or excuse me, August, beginning of August. And they have a great outlook for not only this year, but on into next year. I am not going to sell. We're going to keep this. The last thing we want to do is sell, and then tomorrow price continue up, and then we lose those gains. I'd rather protect the stocks that we currently have and the possibility of our gains and our profits that we currently have. However, we will look at this tomorrow. And if prices start to turn down, then we'll take a look at that point in time. If price is lower than this candle, then we'll sell. But we're going to just keep this on our list, and we'll take a look at it tomorrow. Now we have two stocks that we received alerts on, and this morning when I made the list, these were potentially just placing sell orders, but that may have changed as well. Okay, this is the wrong one. It's supposed to be Goog. G-O-O-G. I looked at the wrong part of my list. All right, so Google, we did receive an alert for a possible sell. However, prices turned back around and it's gone up substantially. Not only did we have price move below both the fast and the slow moving averages recently, we had the fast moving average. If we zoom in even more, you can see the fast moving average crossed Friday below our slow moving average. Our fast moving average crossed below our slow moving average, and again, that is typically a trigger, an indicator that we might want to sell all the stocks that we have just in case there's a continuation of a negative move. But we have a $5 change in direction and increase in our price value of the stock. And if you look, this probably had a downturn the same as SoFi. We had a downturn starting at roughly the same period for both Google and SoFi and plenty of other tech stocks. So this was equally probably just people taking profits, preparing or hedging their bets that we might be heading into a more definite downturn. But that is not the case, and it looks like we're turning right back around. So for Google, we will not be placing a sell order. I thought we might be placing a sell order, but we are not going to be doing that today. So our last stock that we received alerts on is for Targa. Excuse me, TRGP. Okay, having a little trouble here. TRGP, enter. There we go. Okay, so we had price move across our slow moving average on Thursday. We had continuation on Friday. It's quite possible, most likely, that I did not place a sell order at the time, because when we looked, price might have been higher than the close of the candle, but we currently now are lower than this candle, so we do have a continuation of a downward move. Not only that, we have the fast moving average crossing the slow moving average, however, that just crossed today. So tomorrow we'll have to look, and there might be an alert on that. But in any case, it really doesn't matter, because price currently is lower than the purchase price of all 8 shares that I purchased for Targa. Targa provides infrastructure and services for the natural gas industry. Now what we're going to be doing, we're going to be placing a sell order for 1 book, because we have a cross of the slow moving average, and that's a trigger to possibly sell 1 book. So for Targa, I max out at 8 shares, and that's 2 shares per book. So we're going to place a sell order for 2 shares. And the purchase price was $210.94. So we're going to take 10% of the digit in the hundreds place, which is 2, so that's 20 cents. So we're going to add 20 cents to our 210.94 and make it $211.14. $211.14. Good till cancel, extended hours, confirm and send. And now we have our sell order both for this cross and for this cross. Now today, if price continues down and we open up lower, that will be a continuation and a confirmation of the fast moving average crossing the slow moving average. So then we'll place a sell order for our remaining 2 shares. All right, we do have 1 stock left over from last week that we received a possible sell alert on. So we're going to take a look at that now, and that is HPE. That's Hewlett Packard. HPE. All right, so we had price move below both our fast moving and our slow moving. Well, our fast moving is lower than our slow, so it moved below our slow moving first and our fast, and then we also had a cross. So this was an indication, again, where I would look to sell everything that we have or place a sell order if I'm unable to make it sell it at a profit. However, for today, we had price open significantly higher than the close of Friday's candle. Even though we have a downward move today, it definitely opened higher, so we are not going to be, we don't have anything to sell. I currently have only 5 shares, and for Hewlett Packard, I like to have 5 shares per book. I would max out at 20 shares, and we already have a sell order on the 5 shares, the 1 book we have remaining. So we actually have nothing to do for Hewlett Packard. And with that, we're going to go back to our S&P 500 chart, our SPX, our index. Now, we did have alerts that we received for possible buys, but unfortunately, I only was able to sell 1 book of shares for McKesson, and that was a profit of $6. I only currently have $311, and this is money that we have a couple day trading stocks that we have that I need to buy back in, hopefully shortly. So because I didn't sell enough stocks, there just wasn't anything to sell, I have no monies to purchase those stocks that were triggered. Now, if we take a look quickly at this candle, you can see we're now sitting at 67.43. So we've lost an additional $5 in the short time that we've been filming the video. There's roughly 45 minutes left in the trading day in this session, so we'll see what happens. So it is now almost 5:40. It's hour and 10 minutes after market close. I'm taking a look at the S&P 500, and you can see that we closed at another all-time high. The bulls just couldn't get enough energy going to get that all-time high, to beat Friday's all-time high. But we're running with the bulls, and I want to show you how news can affect the stock. So we're going to AppLovin. We have 7 shares of AppLovin. And see this massive candle? We have a massive drop. Went from 686 all the way down to 545. So we're basically looking at $140 some. And I'm going to go into the my daily chart, which is 1 day in 2 minutes. So we're going to pull up the 2-minute time frame. And you'll see that AppLovin was reacting normally, just like how it normally does, or any other stock does. Small candles going down, going up, going down a little bit, crossing, a little choppy here. But then at 3:40, Bloomberg put out a news report that they had been probed by the SEC for their accounting methods. And it only took 8 minutes to drop all the way down to $545. Fortunately, it started to pick back up, but then we've been falling after hours. So the black background here is 9:30 to 4. This is actual open trading of the New York Stock Exchange, and this is pre-market, and this is post-market. This is after-market here. So the grays are what's considered extended hours, and the black is operating hours of the New York Stock Exchange. Now, the news really isn't all that negative. Now, the accounting that they are or were or are being investigated for isn't their revenues and profits and sales. It's for their data collection practices and the way that they account for their targeted marketing and their targeted advertising. The SEC has received some complaints from partners that do business with AppLovin, and they are complaining about their targeted advertisements that are sent out to their customers. But what I wanted to show you was how quickly price can fall. Now, price can also rise as quickly, but usually the fall is much more worse. This is a huge little crash here. I'm looking at right now with my 7 shares, almost $120 loss per share. So I'm looking at a little over $800. And here's my quandary right now. I currently have 7 shares, and all of them are sitting at profit. However, I do have 3 shares that I bought at $538. So the question I have to ask myself, do I want to sell those 3 shares now, or do I wait until tomorrow to see if price starts off the day a little bit higher? And this is one of the reasons I have rules. So right now, we absolutely would be looking at a price moving across our fast-moving average, our slow-moving average, and that's what we're going to have for today. So tomorrow, by my rule set, I would wait. Let's go back into here, my 3-month, 1-day chart. See, we have price move below the fast, blew past both of them, fast and the slow-moving averages. Now, this chart doesn't record extended hours. I don't need extended hours on this chart, because this is my swing trading chart, and I start my videos at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So my trades are done during operating hours of the exchange. But if I go ahead and make the decision to sell some shares of AppLovin, and the price turns around and goes back up, because just the report that they're being investigated isn't all that negative of a report. I mean, businesses get all types of customer complaints, and the SEC goes in and starts investigations and starts audits and doing research. They have to confirm the validity of the complaint. And the investigation could take weeks. It could take months for the investigation to come out, and it might be a glowing positive saying, no, there was nothing wrong here. So I could make a rash decision, sell, and then tomorrow morning the price is up $40 or $50 higher. But this is the immediate emotional reaction of investors taking as much profit as they can, as quickly as they can, before they blow their profits, before they blow their gains. But if price turns around, they're all going to look, they're going to be a little bit disappointed tomorrow if price turns around and shoots back up. which is why I have the rule set. So I think I'm not going to sell anything. I was considering selling at least 3 of the shares, but I'll stick to my rule set here, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. So we're going to go back to the 1-day, 2-minute chart. And we're going to pull up our chart of the day, which is advanced micro devices. And we're going to pull all the way back to actually where the news was reported today. So today was the biggest advance in gains that Advanced Micro Devices has seen in the history of their business. And the reason that it gained so much is just right around 6:45, the news came out is that they partnered with OpenAI, who is also partnered with a competitor of AMD, which is NVIDIA. The agreement between OpenAI and AMD is that OpenAI is going to purchase 6 gigawatts of graphics and processing units from AMD, while at the same time OpenAI is becoming a 10% owner of Advanced Micro Devices. So it's a long-term partnership, which is going to benefit definitely benefited us today. If you're a shareholder at Bennett, you definitely was a beneficiary of today's move. I currently have 4 shares, and that was my max, but given the agreement and the long-term partnership, I'm probably going to, when I'm able to afford and purchase 4 more shares of AMD, I'm probably going to double my base position in AMD. But just like App Loving went down $100 in 8 minutes, this went up 2, 4, 6, 8 in 8 minutes. This went from 165 to 207. So in 8 minutes, that $40 moves that's a rocket. So after owning, being an owner of AMD with 4 shares and having the benefit of this massive gain, it hit a little bit harder to see App Loving move down so much. Because today was a great day. This move was exhilarating, and then just 15 minutes before the market closed, to see my overall portfolio balance drop so drastically to the App Loving move certainly tampered down my my celebration for the day. Although I did have a good day in my day trading. But since we're currently on Advanced Micro Devices, if you are not a shareholder of AMD, you may want to do some research, look into the facts and the current situation of AMD, and you might want to consider purchasing some shares yourself. All right, so we're going to go back to our standard daily chart. And even though we didn't have anything to buy, or we didn't have enough money to buy anything, we did do some selling. We sold McKesson. And we did put a sell order for some of our Targa shares. And we're probably more than likely going to be putting more sell orders on that tomorrow. But we'll see. All right, so we'll come back to our watch list. So now we'll take a look at how much my realized gains for the day through my day trading and swing trading and our portfolio performance to date. All right, remember my realized gains. If you've been watching my videos, you know that my realized gains aren't just from my swing trading; they are from my day trading as well. And my swing trading, I only made $6 a day on my swing trading, so I made $1,011.65 today. Today was a really good day. It's one of my better days this year in my realized gains for day trading. Now, our portfolio performance to date in the new account that I opened on August 20th or August 19th is 7.92 compared to the S&P 500 at 4.93. So we're almost 3 full percentage points better performance than the S&P 500. The old account, which all the assets were transferred from the old account to the new account. You can see I closed this on August 18th. 16.26% is what my performance was compared to the S&P 500 at 10.54%. Combined, my performance year to date is 24.18 compared to the S&P 500 at 15.47, giving me a better performance by 8.71%. Again, this performance is mostly held up by my day trading strategies. In order to achieve the, we'll just say $1,000, a little bit more than $1,000, I traded base cost basis of $73,000 of stocks today, and gaining about $1,000 more. And I made 191 trades today in my day trading strategy. That certainly isn't the most. Sometimes I have 250 trades. If you were to look back at some of my previous videos, you'll see where I made $600 or $700, and I might have made 250 trades that day. So it doesn't really come down to the number of trades, although that certainly is beneficial on some green days. But I'm very happy with this performance, and I am looking at getting a webcam, and I'm thinking about streaming my what I do during the day. Just think about streaming my trades and just talk about what I'm doing, show you what I'm doing. Some of you might be able to make some of the trades with me if you like. So if any of you have any experience in streaming and you already have a camera, or you have some ideas of what you think a good camera would be, just let me know. Reach out in the comments and let me know what you think is a good webcam. All right, so we are done for the day on our day on the swing trading strategy. Now, after I finish making this video and editing it and putting it up on YouTube, today's going to be the first day that I go back to trying to support and encourage people to put in $25 a week. So I'm going to be making 2 videos a day. One is going to be the a similar type of trading within a retirement account where I have been putting in $25 a day. $25 a week. Oh, look at that. We just made a little bit more money. We sold gold. So putting in $25 a week. If you've been following me and you've been following these videos, it would be kind of hard for you to believe that you can make money with just $25 a week, because I'm dealing with much larger stocks. I've got a much larger portfolio balance that I have access to that I'm using every day. So that might be a little discouraging. So I'm going to have another video that's strictly $25 a week, and I'm going to be trading on that account. But that also will be strictly a swing trading account. There will be no day trading in that. I will only be performing swing trades, and to begin with, it's basically just going to be purchasing the S&P 500. I am also finalizing a video of how to open up a Schwab account. So if you've not looked into opening a Schwab account or an account anywhere else, but if you do choose to open an account and you want to do a Schwab, I'm hoping to have just a straightforward step-by-step walkthrough of opening that account. So with that said, we are done for the day. Thank you very much for staying with the video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let this get out to other people out there that are interested in trading or improving their trading profits and returns. And I hope you have an absolutely amazing rest of your Monday afternoon.